Chapter 1 basically is the definition of Tao and Te, but I named this chapter as the universe and me. It's important to understand how the universe related to us before we study Tao Te Ching. This is a very important concept. Have you ever encountered somebody who is depressed, who is suicidal? They think that they are alone, they are so devastated. For right now, during the pandemic, some of us have been in lockdown for so long. There are certain period of time that we couldn't go anywhere. We can only stay home except going to grocery shopping. So during this time, people feel very depressed, feel very lonely, and some experience the thought of a suicide. So I want to say that these people who have this kind of experience, it's because they cannot relate themselves to the universe. We are a part of the universe. We are never alone. This is a very important concept of Laozi's teaching. So before we start Tao Te Ching, we want to know how are we related to the universe. Have you heard of the saying? If you understand a grain of sand, you will understand the whole universe. Buddha say the universe is a single flower. Have you heard of the saying? How can it be? So let me explain to you. Here is the seed of the flower. It takes a process for the flower to grow. In order to grow the flower, what does it need? It needs the sun, the moon, the oxygen, the carbon dioxide, the wind, the rain, the mist, the bees. Maybe you need a farmer to give fertilizer. And of course, it needs some chemical too. It needs a potassium, nitrogen, calcium, and maybe earthworm for it to grow. So it needs so many things. It needs the sunlight, it needs the moonlight, and not to mention it needs the four elements, the earth, water, fire, and the wind. So this is just a few things that I mentioned, and there's much more. So from the growth of the flower, we can see the flower cannot grow by itself. It needs to be nurtured by the universe. It needs so many supplements. It needs so many nutrition from the surrounding for the flower to grow. If the flower needs so much thing to grow, then what about human? Now let's move down to this picture. So what is human's basic need? The food, the water, and the shelter, and the clothes. Some people might say, oh, I don't need much. I just eat vegetable. Vegetable, the concept of eating a vegetable is the same as the flower. In order for the vegetable to grow, to come to you, the farmer have to put the seed, need to plant it, need to give fertilizer, and then maybe the farmer put pesticide too. And then when it's in harvest time, the packer have to pack it into some kind of bag, and then the driver need to deliver the packaging, the vegetable, into a grocery or a farmer's market. And then the vendor will have to be there to sell it. There's so many people involved. I'm a favorite person of tomato. Just a tomato alone, I believe it takes at least 10 or 20 people touch it before it gets to my hand. So it really takes a lot of involvement. And what about our clothes? For me to wear this clothes, it's a lot of operation too. The designer have to design my clothes. And then even just a simple t-shirt, the designer have to design my clothes, need to choose the fabric, need to design the trim, and then maybe they need to present it to the vendor. And then once they approve it, they send it to the sewing shop. And then the sewer will buy the fabric. And then some clothes have a zipper, have bottom, have screen printing, have embroidery. Before it goes to the Macy, go to the department store, you know, somebody have to pack it, somebody have to iron it, put it in a plastic bag. So many things involved. So each item, it requires many effort from heaven and earth. So we cannot really live alone by ourselves. We are part of the universe, and we are nurtured by the universe. We are a creation of universe. So even when we are physically alone, we are not alone, because we do have that connection with the universe. We just need to pay attention. From the human perspective, above human, there's heaven and earth. And above heaven and earth, there is the universe. This is a big perspective Laozi wants us to understand before we go into Tao Te Ching. One important thing is that we have to put that in perspective, because if we don't, one day when our body perish, where are we going to go? We come from the universe, and one day we have to go back. Therefore, we have to reassure ourselves there is the concept of heaven and earth, there is the universe. This is where I come from, and this is where I am going back. It's interesting, in 1982, there was a famous movie, E.T. Go Home. This movie was really popular. It was written by Melissa Matheson. So it's interesting that back then, the people like very much the idea of E.T. Go Home. E.T. wants to go home, but what about humans? So they just think about E.T. wants to go home, but human wants to go home too. Later on, I realized that she has some concept of Tao. So back then, I liked that movie very much. So let's go into chapter 1. So this is the scripture. The Tao can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Non-existence is named the origin of heaven and earth. Existence is named the mother of all living beings. With no desire, mind can observe the true self. With desire, the behavior manifests upon true self. Both came from same origin, but differ in names. Both are mystery. The mysteries of mystery is the door to all wonders. So here I put on the side, on the top is universe perspective, heaven and earth perspective. So when we look at this, we understand Laozi's logic is very clear. He starts from the universe perspective and then to the human perspective. Down below, he talks about the purpose of function. So from here, we understand that his writing is very systematic, very organized. Good writer. In the future, when we study Tao Te Ching, you will see that Laozi, he's like a good English teacher. He will give us the introduction and the body and the conclusion. It's always like that, very organized, very easy to understand. Let's move to our next slide. The Tao can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Chinese character has so much words, so many words, so many words. Laozi picked this word because this word is Laozi's best choice. These words convey so many description and so many scenarios. It means lasting, persistent, permanent, unchangeable, without ending or beginning. It's continuous, it's endless, it doesn't stop, it's valid for all time, essentially unchanging and no duality. So this is the definition of Tao. Can we think of any English word that conveys so many of this meaning? It's very difficult. Laozi, of course, he is a Chinese sage. He came up with this word. So I think that it's genius. So the Tao can be spoken. This word spoken here, literally, it means to speak. But we have to take it beyond that. It's actually using the form was visualized, audible, and tangible too. So Laozi is saying that anything that can be visualized, anything that can be audible, or anything that can be tangible is not the eternal truth, which is true. Can you think of anything that's Tao, that's lasting, permanent, unchanging? Give you an example. Our solar system. Look at this picture here. Our solar system. And this is our Earth. There's 9 planets. Some people call 13 and 12, and I'm sure there's a lot of planets going around the sun. But the major one is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and so Earth being number 4. For Earth to go around the sun, it takes 365 days. For the Mercury to go around the sun takes 88 days. Jupiter, which is this one, it takes 12 years. Saturn takes 29 years. Uranus takes 84 years. So they all orbit around the sun, but they don't collide with each other. How can that be? And it was like this things long ago. It will continue to do that in the future, nonstop. And we don't know when it starts. We don't know. So this is a great example of Tao. So this invisible force Can we visualize that? Is there a certain track that we can see? We cannot. Can we hear the sun, the earth is moving around the sun? We cannot. Is it something that we can touch? We cannot. So this is the invisible law, the invisible force. It's something very mysterious. It's an energy going around us that we cannot visualize, cannot hear, and it's not tangible. What about the magnetic field? When we say magnetic field, the first thing come to our mind is the gray whale. The gray whale every year will travel from Hawaii to Pacific coast every year, going and come back, going and come back. So does turtle. A grown sea turtle can travel back to the birthplace 10 years ago. So how can that be? It's something that it's beyond our imagination, but it's there. So what other animal has this magnetic field? The geese, the birds, the pigeon. Human also have magnetic field too. Human also has. It's right in our heavenly portal. But because we haven't exercised that for many lifetimes, and not even this lifetime, that's why we don't know where is it. So in our Tao session, our master always remind us that we have to focus on our heavenly portal. This is the place that we can communicate with heaven and earth. We can communicate with the universe. So we need to rediscover our magnetic field. So I'll go into that later. And then the law of thermodynamics. This is a law that explains whatever is created, eventually it will break down. And the law of gravity, when you throw something to the top, it will fall down. And the law of attraction, the same kind of people tend to get together. So this kind of energy, it's something that we cannot see, we cannot hear. There's nothing that we can visualize. Their unique characteristic is that the essence is always formless, it's soundless, it's colorless, it's odorless. Just like here, I have a cup here. So the essence of the cup is the space. The space. You say, how can it be? Well, if a cup without the space, it will not call a cup. When we want to buy a cup, first we have to decide what size of the cup we want, and then we decide the material. We want to decide. I want the ceramic. I want the steel. I want the wooden one. Different kind of material. But first, we have to decide the space. Here, I have on the screen. I have an image of the shoes. When you go to a shoe store, do you look for the color first? Do you look at the style first, or do you look at the size first? Of course, we look at the size first because size is the most important thing. But size cannot be visualized. It can only be visualized by the shape of the shoes. You cannot hear the size. So when we go to buy shoes, we have to look for the size. Oh, I wear size 7, so I will go to the 7 aisle. Same thing for the clothes. So when I wear the clothes, I will choose the medium size. Without the essence, then the shirt will not be a shirt. So in terms of human too, can we have invisible force to make it visible? We cannot. Our Tao, it cannot be visible. Our conscience is not visible. You can only visualize my conscience after I manifest it, which is my speech, my bodily form. You can hear me. When I touch you, you can feel me. But if I don't have any formal shape, you will not see me. So this is the concept of Tao. It's very difficult to talk about. By the way, we are talking about chapter 1. Chapter 1 is the most difficult chapter to talk about, but I'll try my best. The next verse is that the name that can be named is not an eternal name. So we can interpret this with 2 ways. Literally, the first way, the most simple way is that in our society, we name the creator a different name. The creator The most common one is God, which is the most controversial name because of this name God. There is so much conflict and chaos and confusion. It caused so much religious war. And then people also have a different name for God: Jehovah, Heavenly Father, Elohim, Emmanuel, Yahweh, I am, Allah, Brahma, Hashem. In Chinese, we call it 神, 上帝. So not to mention the English name, if I put the Chinese name, it will make things more complicated. And of course, in the Heavenly Tao, we call Lao Mu. And if we translate to English, it's Heavenly Mother. You see, when we create a name, it becomes very difficult for people to understand. There's 72 names for God, and this is the main cause for confusion and conflict. And the name cannot really be named because for our name, my name is Joanna. I have a Chinese name too. But then before I was married, I have my own last name. But after I married, maybe I changed it to a different last name. So when I was a child, people call me different nicknames. And I'm sure my name is different from my previous life. And I'm sure after my current life, I will have a different one. So you see, this name, if the name that can be changed, it's not an eternal name. My name Joanna, it's only a temporary name that to be used in a current life during this time frame. Now, the second way to interpret this verse is in terms of merit. Tao and De is a flip side of the same coin. With Tao, when Tao is manifest, it becomes De. De is its behavior, and it becomes a form of virtue and merit. So when the virtue and merit is manifest, when we give it a name, it's not an eternal name. Let me give you an example. For example, donation. If I give $100 to Tienshin Temple, and after I give it to Master, I tell everybody, I donate $100 to Tienshin Temple. I put it on Facebook. I put it on social media. I put it on Instagram. I put it on Twitter. So is that virtue, a good virtue, or intentional virtue to make me recognize? So when something is being named, when the virtue is being named, when the donation is being advertised or intentionally recognized, it's no longer a virtue, or it's no longer an eternal name. To paraphrase it, the De can be visualized. It's not the eternal virtue. So a person who gives donation to the temple, if that can be named, is not the real virtue. Next verse. So in the previous two verses, we talk about the universe perspective. So Laozi now come to the second perspective. So Tao can be interpreted into three definitions. So here we come to the second one. The second one is the heaven and earth perspective. Non-existence is the origin of heaven and earth. Existence is the mother of all beings. I'm afraid that non-existence will give you some kind of misunderstanding. So I put synonym right here. So these are the words that are related to Laozi's meaning of Wu, the void, the emptiness, the nothingness, noneness, beginningless, endless. So this is all the synonym of Wu, and this is all synonym of Yo. Creation, manifestation, revelation, describable, physical world, and it's something perishable. So I want to point out to you that here, existence is the mother of all being. Keep in mind that the mother of all being here, the mother is referred to the benchmark, and I will explain to you in the next slide. So we are still on the same definition of heaven and earth perspective. Non-existence is the origin of heaven and earth. So let me put it in perspective. So here is non-existence. Non-existence is, it's not about, it's nothing. It's something there, but just we cannot see it. We cannot see it with our physical eyes, although it's It's invisible, intangible, inaudible, but it's there. Just like earlier I talked about the solar system, there is an invisible force. So there is an invisible force right here, but it's in stillness. And as you know, when the force is in stillness for so long, something will come about. Something will come about. This is the law of the universe. Nothing can be still for a long time, and nothing can be in movement for a long time. So out of Wuji, here comes to Taiji, and Taiji just a little tiny thing. And from this little tiny thing, there is it begins some kind of movement. And that some kind of movement, there's a form of a movement of wing, there's movement of a very, very tiny shape of energy, and you start moving. And when you start moving, and that energy becomes bigger, and here comes to the interaction. With so much chaos going on, it forms the energy, like we talk about the law of attraction, the same kind of energy get together. So there is the light energy together, and then the dense energy together. Here we symbolize it with the white color, and this part we symbolize with black shadow. So the energy which is light, it goes to the top naturally without any force. And the dark dense energy, it moves to the bottom without any force. So here we can see that although in the light energy, there is the heavy energy. And within the heavy energy, there is a movement of light energy. So in other words, to paraphrase this is that there's a movement within the stillness, and this stillness within the movement. From this yin and yang, from this four phenomenon, it becomes our creation of heaven and earth. And that's why we see in I Ching, we call heaven, we call yin, and the earth we call yin. So this is the creation of heaven and earth. So non-existence is the origin of heaven and earth. For me to give you another perspective to help you to understand, I want you to look at this picture here. You see this this is the apple tree. There is the apple tree. Where does the apple tree come from? The apple tree comes from the seed, right? There's no question about it. So from the seed, it grows into a small tree, and then it grows into apple. And then here we can enjoy this apple. But here, look at this apple. Before the creation of the apple, where does it come from? It comes from non-existence. Before the apple was born, there was no apple, right? That's why Laozi say non-existence is the origin of heaven and earth. Non-existence is the origin of the creation of this apple. Therefore, I can say this apple here, existence is the mother of all being, because from this apple, it becomes the mother of all the apple seed. With this apple, it can produce many, many apple trees from the seed, right? From this apple, maybe inside it has 4 seeds. With this 4 seed, each seed can produce an apple tree, and each apple tree can maybe produce 100 apples. And with 100 apples here, here, and here, and here, and then each small apple can produce more apple. So that's why second verse says existence is the mother of all being. In terms of human consciousness, non-existence, what does it mean in terms of human consciousness? It means before the rise of our thought. So this is a very important concept a Tao cultivator have to pay attention, because this is where we want to get into. This is where we can exercise our magnetic field. Every day we are constantly in moving our thought. Every day when we wake up, we have so many thoughts come in, and then with the thought, we make decision, we make judgment, and then we meet certain people. We carry discussion with other people, and then when we see this person, we have a good discussion. So we put a color lens on them, and then if I have an argument with this person, I put sunglasses on that, because I put sunglasses because next time when I see him, this person becomes very dark, because my mind come with a prejudice. I don't like this person. Oh, I remember this person. I met this person 2 days ago. This person does not like me. He even argue with my religious beliefs. Does not really understand what I'm talking about, and even say bad things about me. So from that point on, I decide to wear color lenses, and we all do that. In medical term, it's called pre-existing condition. For us, all carry our color lenses when we see people. By the way, I have 2 people at home. So on the street, when we see people on the street, what do we feel? We will be very alert, because people is the #1 violent dog throughout all the race of the dog. I did that research before I adopt 2 people, and indeed it is. People has violent behavior. So when we see people, we have this pre-existing thought. People is going to attack me, therefore I have to be very careful. And because of that, we come to the existence. And when we have that kind of thought, then we start to have judgment. We start to have a different reaction towards to the people around us, to our family member, to our neighbor. So it's very important to understand this is related to each other. It's flip side of the same coin. Before the rise of a thought is the concept of non-existence. However, we cannot always stay in stillness. The thought have to come about. Therefore, the existence is the mother of all things. So because of the existence, because of you have this thought, therefore you like this, you don't like this, you hate this, you prefer certain food, and you treat this person better, and you kind of ignore this person when somebody says something to you, when you have bad experience with this person. Now come to the third perspective, human's perspective. So this coincides with Bible's teaching, because in the Genesis, God created the universe and then create heaven and earth. And lastly, God creates human and animal. So Laozi's perspective, I see that in general, it echoes with the creation of the universe in Genesis. Here, with no desire, mind can observe the true nature. With desire, the behavior manifests upon the true nature. So here I want to point out to you that this word in Chinese means observe, but observe, we can observe from our eyes, but we can also observe from our heart. How? Let me give you an example. Can you think of a cat in your mind? Yes, you can. Can you think about what did you have for lunch? Yes. So that's how we observe using our mind. Laozi wants us to observe using our mind, not using our sense. So next time when you see this observe, I have to, when I translate, I want to translate in the literal meaning, and then I add the figurative meaning behind it. So here I add contemplation, or we can put a meditation. So mind can contemplate upon the true self. The true self. Where is our true self? True self is the mysterious place. It's where the heavenly portal resides. It's really a place where we need to discover, because that's where we can discover clairvoyant. All the Buddha, all the Bodhisattva have clairvoyant, and we have that too. We can also we have the homing instinct, same like animal. It's called the magnetic field. We can have wisdom, same like Buddha and Bodhisattva. This is really mysterious, because since ancient time, all the Buddha, Bodhisattva, and sages, they all come upon this place to contemplate, to discover their true self. So here we are, Laozi is guiding us with no desire. We can contemplate on our true self to discover our inner wisdom. In Diamond Sutra, it says the true Dharma is hidden in the eye. In Tao Te Ching, chapter 6, which we will study later on, the eternal soul hidden in the valley is the root of heaven and earth. Mysterious place is talking about the jewel in our portal. So with desire, the behavior manifests upon the true nature. It's impossible to maintain in the first verse. Therefore, with this physical body, we are constantly in movement and in stillness. Movement in stillness. So we are constantly running around. Our mind is always turning. So Laozi understand this. It's impossible to have no desire. Therefore, when we have desire, hence come to the second verse. When we have desire, the behavior can manifest upon the true nature. On the left side, here is the state that when we don't have desire, when we have free of thought, peace, when we focus on our third eye, when we are doing meditation, heavenly portal. You will say, oh, that's so difficult, because every day we are always running around. We cannot have a moment in this state. Therefore, Laozi told us that we can come to manifest upon this state with our true nature. So as long as we behave in a righteous way, Confucius says that if it's not appropriate, do not say it. If it's not appropriate, do not hear it. If it's not appropriate, do not see it. So this is how we contemplate on our true nature. Here I have a little cartoon. Imagine this is De and this is Tao. Tao is the center point, and this is our source. So De is the kite, and the kite is connected to the Tao. So the kite can move around from the wind. You can fly as high as you want, vibrate as much as you can. Same like our behavior. We can do as much as we can. Every day we have to work. We are constantly moving from the time that we wake up in the morning, we get up, we brush our teeth, we go to the restroom, we wash our face, we eat our breakfast, get ready to go to work, and then do so many things. So whatever we do, it doesn't matter how high we fly or how short we fly and how much vibrant, how much action we have. Our action must connect it to a true self. Is it aligned to our true self? This alignment is an invisible string. The alignment is something that you can check yourself only. No one can check it for you. Confucius' number one disciple, Yan Hui, he often repent himself and observe himself so often. This is a great example when how we exercise the second verse with desire. The behavior manifests upon the true nature. So here I put our three verse in perspective. So again, Laozi's writing is very structured. The Tao that can be told is not eternal Tao. This is the essence. The second one, the name can be named is not the eternal name. This is the manifestation. Non-existence is the essence. The existence is the manifestation. So the essence is the Tao. Manifestation is the De. Now we come to the third one. This one is more easy to understand. With no desire, which is the Tao. With desire is the De. So you see, it has a pattern. We have to understand human is part of the universe. Here I draw a diagram. So imagine the universe is this big circle, and within the heaven and earth, there is human and all the sentient beings, the insects, the animal, all the sentient beings, the vegetable, all the physical things. So we are right here. We come from non-existence. We come from heaven and earth. We come from universe. So one day, if our body perish, universe is where we are going to return. So in a smaller perspective, our human body, it's a micro universe. A micro universe consists of a mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul. So one day when we were born, we came from our soul, or our soul come from the universe. So because of our body, we have the mind and the body. But one day when we perish, our body will be gone and our mind will be gone. And what's left? Only the soul. And where is the soul going to go? It's going back to the universe. So I want to relate to you the lighting of the holy lamp. So in our temple, any ritual that we do, we have to light the holy lamp. So we will first light up the mother lamp. The mother lamp meaning the universe. And then we will light up the sun lamp, and then the moon lamp. So this is a chain of events, very similar to what we talk about. There is the universe, and then it creates the heaven and earth, and then comes to human. So when we light the holy lamp, we light the mother lamp, and then we light the sun lamp, and then we light the moon lamp. So this is the creation of the universe. One day, when we perish, we will return back to heaven, and then we will return with that route by putting off the moon lamp first, and then the sun lamp, and then the Lao Mu lamp. Next one, both came from the same origin but differ in names. So both, what is this both refer to? This both is referred to the Tao and De. This come from the same place but with a different name. Can we, here I list the question. Can we have the Tao without De? Can we have a tree without a root? We can see the tree. Can a tree be without root? Can we have front without back? And then the app. Can we have the app without phone? They coexist together. They coexist together. The cup here, the essence and the ceramic, they coexist together. They have to come together. This piece of fabric, there's the front and back. You cannot separate them. So Tao is revealed from De. Although Tao is invisible, but we can see the De. De is manifest from Tao. So De is anything that you can see. So here I have a picture of a human. Tao, I graded out because it's invisible. And De is something that we can see. So these two names come from the same source. I make a chart with a different perspective. So these two names, invisible and visible, they are the two names, but come from the same source, inside and outside, essence and manifestation, the stillness and movement, inner self and behavior. When we look at Laozi's verse, you can see that he's very organized. He talks about the Tao and the De. Non-existence is referred to Tao. Existence refer to De. No desire refer to Tao, and with desire refer to De. So here comes to the last slide. The mystery of mystery is the door to all wonder. So here I want to point out to you both. Both are referred to Tao and the De. This mystery of mystery, what mystery are we referring to? This mystery cannot be comprehended by knowledge and or academic study. It cannot be taught in all school, but this is the mystery to be enlightened, the mystery to be a saint and a sage, the mystery to become a Buddha and Bodhisattva, the mystery to return home, the mystery to discover your magnetic field, to have your homing instinct. Remember, all the animals have a homing instinct, but we don't have. Why? Because we haven't exercised that. This is something that we need to contemplate upon. Another thing I want to point out to you is the door. Door is referred to the heavenly portal, but here it's only referred to the door. Laozi say this is only the door. You have to open it. In your childhood, have you ever played treasure hunting? And you are given a map, and then you are being told that in a certain place there's a certain treasure, and you want it very much, but then you have to get a map. So the map will tell you where to go, and it will give you all a hint. So people who have the map were likely to find the treasure. So this is a sort of like the lineage of Tao. So in the old time, when people want to find the mystery or the wonder, they have to go find the map or find the master to ask for the map. It used to be that the master can only pass the mystery to one person. The master can give it to one disciple. So if you are among the thousands of disciples, you have to cultivate very well. You have to practice very well. You have to be on your best behavior. You have to do certain tasks. Once you pass the test, if you are lucky enough, the master will grant you the map. And then you are able to go into the cave, to go into the heavenly portal and discover the treasure. But here we are now, we are in the White Era period. We can receive this Tao so easily. And here we are just standing by the door. There's so much treasure inside, and we need to go in. We don't want to just hold a treasure map and just wait by in the cave without going to getting the treasure. So Laozi say this is only the door. We have to go inside to find our treasure. So it's very important to understand this is only a door. It's like you go to Disneyland, you buy the ticket without going to Disneyland to enjoy. We don't just want to stand by the door. So here is a summary. The Tao that can be told is not an eternal Tao. I highlight the key verse, the Tao and the De, the Tao and the De, the Tao and the De. And again, this is in the universe perspective, heaven and earth perspective, human perspective, and the purpose and the function of Tao. In other words, why we need to study Tao Te Ching. This is the last verse give us the reason. So here's my ending notes. Buddha say, those who see me in forms or see me through sound are on the mistaken path. They do not see the Tathagata. And Laozi in chapter 6 say, the eternal soul hidden in the valley is the root of heaven and earth. Here I want to point out to you the last one, the doubting Thomas. Thomas did not believe in Jesus came back, and he couldn't believe in Jesus, and he told everybody, unless I can see the wound in Jesus' hand, I can see his side, otherwise I'm not going to believe him. So indeed, Jesus came back. He told Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed in me. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. So we are the blessed one. We have not seen Lao Mu. We have not seen Tao, but we believe in Tao. We are the blessed one. So in chapter 1, very important, Tao and De. Tao is invisible. De is a manifestation of Tao. We have to understand this. We have to enter the door to discover our wonder, to discover our wisdom, and understanding that our body is only a vessel of our true self. We are only a vessel of Buddha. We are a vessel of consciousness. We are a vessel of the universe. So in my next sharing is the winner of a beauty pageant is not so beautiful. And that's the ending of my presentation. I ask the forgiveness of Lao Mu, Sijun Simu, and Buddha Maitreya, and Master, if there's any misinterpretation during this presentation. I thank your participation. Thank you so much.